Aloha shirts. They've long been a symbol of island life, but for an Oʻahu man, they've become his life. For more than 40 years, he's been collecting Aloha shirts, turning his eye for interesting pieces into a business that's attracted celebrities, tourists, and locals alike.
My name's David Bailey. I'm the founder and co-owner with my wife of Bailey's Antiques and Aloha Shirts, and we've been in business since 1980. My method is each time I sell a shirt, I buy two. So at this point we have 15,000 shirts here and another 4,000 at home. The way this is organized, we have the new shirts starting at 8X, and everything gets smaller and smaller as you go that way. Above us, we've got the shirts that were made in the 40s or the 50s. And then this rack here is shirts from the 60s and 70s. A lot of people outgrow their shirts, or they have their granddad shirts and nobody wants them, or they can't identify the fact that they're worth a lot of money. And in fact, investing in these shirts is proven to be at least better than the stocks I've seen to invest in, which all seem to go down. But that's just me. I look at Aloha shirts as wearable art. In the late 40s and 50s, that's considered the golden age of the wearable art. All the shirts we have hanging from the ceiling are from that period. Although we do have a shirt back here with the Duke Kahanamoku Pro Swimmer label, which was actually designed by him and made by him in the 30s. That's the oldest shirt we have here. We're actually asking $900 for this. It says, designed by Duke Kahanamoku, made in the Hawaiian Islands. This hand-painted one right up here, it's a very rare label. I bought it from the widow of a colonel up at Schofield. It was hand-painted in circa 1950. He probably paid maybe $3 for that. I gave her $500. Anybody who wants to make a reasonable offer, over $5,000 I'll take. I can't tell you how rare that is. That's almost the only one I've ever seen outside of books. But it appears to have never been worn, or possibly worn only once. Kauai Hau of Hawaii, originators and manufacturers of hand-painted apparel. Here's a couple of my favorite label shirts. This is extremely complicated Kamehameha shirt from the Matson line. You see it has the double stitching, the horizontal buttonholes. It turns out there's 21 silk screens involved in this shirt. This could have been worn during the 50s by a waiter, possibly, or a greeter on the Matson line itself. This company started in 1936. This is a Duke Kahanamoku Champion label shirt. A couple of interesting things about this shirt. In the death scene at the end of the movie From Here to Eternity, Montgomery Clift wears this shirt. And so this is another very desirable collector's shirt because of that movie. In my opinion, and most collectors, the Kamehameha, which is that Eugene Savage, these ones along here are all Kamehameha. They made the best shirts of all. That other black shirt there, that's the only remaining Musashiya shirt that we have. He's credited with making the very first Aloha shirt back in 1928, approximately. This one reads, Musashiya, the shirt maker, Honolulu, Hawaii, with a goofy face on it. This shirt is from the 1950s. It's their earlier labels. But any Musashiya shirt, ultra hard to find. So this is a Paradise Found shirt, which was inducted into the Smithsonian. It's called Red Jungle Bird, and that's actually our #1 best-selling shirt because the original Magnum shows are still shown in Eastern Europe a lot. So the Europeans want to pretend they're Tom Selleck. These are all shirts that he wore on the show. I'll give you a quick tutorial on how to tell a real old shirt. Is that this seam here, the armpit seam and the side seam, would be what's called a flat seam or a French seam. The sewing machine actually used 2 needles, so they build them to last. Then the manufacturers by the 70s for sure had figured out they could save money on thread with just 1 needle. The shirt might fall apart in 5 years instead of 20 years, which meant they could sell another shirt. So they all switched over. And another thing to look for besides the seams is the old buttonholes were horizontal. Starting in the 60s, they went to vertical buttonholes, and they also added a 5th or 6th button where the older shirts might only have 4. They'll also have an old label. The desirable labels will be made in Hawaii or made in California. Of these up here, the collectible ones that are really desirable, they're rayon. But people call them silky, but they're actually rayon. Here's a photo of the luckiest thing that ever happened to us. It's my wife, myself, and Anthony Bourdain about 20 years ago. It was when he was working for the Discovery Channel back in about 2003, when he came in here and filmed. And since then, at least 1/4 of the people that find us because of the video he made. We survived the George Bush recession because of that. I'm not even sure we'd be in business if he hadn't come in. Well, let me just show you a picture here. Jimmy Buffett came in almost every year, and he would purchase those back panel shirts. And in fact, when he performed at Fenway Park, he was wearing the most expensive shirt we've ever sold, which is an Art Vogue back panel with a hula girl on the back. And he had good taste, and he was a really nice guy. We've had 3 Academy Award winners. We had Nicolas Cage, was probably the craziest one. When he came in here, he goes, "I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that." $10,000 he went in a minute he spent. And then he said, "Oh yeah, I want a purple shirt." I said, "Come back tomorrow." And I told him, "Well, this one's special. It's from my closet. I want 4,000. He said, "Okay, I'll take that." If I'd said 8,000, it wouldn't have made a difference to him at all. He was thinking he'd get a deal. And we learned later he actually sold some of the shirts for more money because they had celebrity value, not just vintage value. I've had a lot of serendipity and luck, but also it's something I enjoy. It's dealing with wearable art. And what I don't understand is how can somebody willingly wear a white shirt every day before they go to work? To me, that's horrible. Aloha shirts are a lot of fun to wear. They're colorful. If you like pineapples, you can get a pineapple shirt. If you like surfing, there's all kind of surfing ones, and on and on. If you know you're going to be stuck in a boring meeting, you can wear one with pictures of Waikiki and stuff, and you can go, "Oh, I wish I was there," kind of drift off in a daydream, whatever. But it's very big and important to Hawaii. I mean, there's thousands of seamstresses here and hundreds of companies, and Hawaii is known around the world for Aloha shirts or Hawaiian shirts. And it's something to be proud of.
Mahalo for joining us. It's because of the generosity of viewers like you that we get to share these local stories. If you'd like to support our mission of continuous learning, please visit pbshawaii.org and click the donate button. For Homies Here, I'm Kala'i Miller. Ahui ho.